We don't want to be, because that rich person would buy one dry cleaning store. 2 years later, they would have 2. 5 years later, they'd have 7 stores, and they do what? Sell all 7 as a chain. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if they could sell all 7 as a chain for $2.5 million, who has more wealth? The person with one store who wanted to be their own boss, or the person who sold off the whole chain?
B.
Thank you very much. A or B? B. Okay. All right. So the question I'm going to ask you, do you know why we buy stocks? To sell them for a profit. You get that? Even Apple? Everybody loves Apple. Anybody own Apple here? Okay. Nobody owns Apple? Well, one guy owns Apple. Very smart. Anytime the stock goes from $86 a share to $400 in 2.5 years, is that good?
That's
good. Yes. Why? Because we're picking this pattern. We're just going to do it over and over and over again. Okay. All right. What's your name, sir?
Caesar.
Give it up for Caesar for owning Apple, please. Thank you. All right. I won't embarrass you, Caesar, to ask you what you bought it at, but I like the shirt so things look like they're going well. All right, here we go. So here we go. We want to buy things to sell them. Now watch this, because if you can duplicate this pattern, you can do it over and over and over and over again. If we buy stocks to sell them, we will make something called a profit. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Please do me a favor. In your packet, go to page 6. Don't be negative. Just be what? Open. Okay. Just want to be open to learning something you didn't know before. Every stock in the stock market has its own symbol. The symbol that we're going to use today is X, Y, Z. Right? By the way, the stock market consistently produces millionaires with a low amount of startup capital, right? Because now we can do this on the internet. But it's always been that way, but if you weren't taught that, you didn't know that. Anybody remember the Addams Family, the old black and white TV series?
Yeah.
How did Gomez make his money? Remember he had that stock ticker tape machine? Didn't they live in a mansion? Nobody worked. He made all his money off of stocks. When his stocks went up, he would go, get it. Remember that? Yeah, because every episode he was making money. All right. If I buy a stock at $19.75, why, based on what you've learned here today, why did we buy the stock? To sell it at some point for a profit. Does that make sense? If I were to sell this stock at $25 a share, would that be good?
Yes.
How about $22 a share? Would that be good?
Yes.
How about if I bought the stock at $19.75 and I decided I'd sell it at $21? Would that be good?
If you have enough of it.
Say it again?
If you have enough of it.
If you have enough of it, that would be good, right? Okay. The problem is, how about if I bought this stock and I said I wanted to sell it at $20? Would that be good?
Yeah.
Oh, you split on that. If I like it, it's only a quarter. You'd make only a quarter. Oh, only? All money is good money. Okay. Instead of waiting for this stock to just go to $20 a share, I'd love to sell it there. Some of you from real estate are going to know this term. I'm going to sell an option to somebody else and let them buy it away from me. Are you with me?
Sure.
Okay. So instead of waiting for this stock to go from $19 to $20 a share, I'm going to find someone in the marketplace. It happens in 3 minutes. They're already out there. And they're going to say, hey, Tyrone, I'd love to buy your stock away from you at $20. And I'm going to pay you 75 cents a share to put the stock on hold until the 3rd Friday of the month, and we'll see if it goes to $20 a share. Do you see that on the page? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk about this. We'll do it with one share, and your rate of return is going to be the same whether you have one share, 100 shares, 500, 10,000. It's the same rate of return. If I buy the stock at $19.75, I agree to sell it to someone at $20, and they pay me 75 cents a share. Do you know what my rate of return is? I wrote it on the page so you wouldn't have to do it anymore. That's right. It is 5%. By the way, is it good if I just give you the answer? Like, why do you need a calculator? Because some of you are like, carry the 3 and the thing, and you don't get all that. I get it. 5% for buying the stock and selling the call. If I did this with 100 shares, I'd make how much money? $75, right? Yes?
Yes.
If I did this same transaction with 1,000 shares, how much money did I make? $750 in 3 minutes. that good?
Yeah.
I just got a 5% return for buying something and agreeing to sell it to someone else at a higher price. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yes. Write this down on this page. This is called selling a, who knows?
Option.
Covered call. This option that I took in 75 cents a share for, it's good for till the 3rd Friday of the month. You don't know that. Options expire today. So everybody in my program is really excited because they either sold the stock for a profit, but let me actually back up. Let's say, for example, the stock never crosses $20. Does anybody know what's going to happen to this option? It's going to expire, which means that you now own the shares again. The person didn't buy the stock. Do you get to keep the 75 cents per share?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yep.
So this option expired, they decided not to buy the stock, but you get to keep this money?
Yes.
Is this real?
America.
Can this really happen in 3 minutes? If I did this with 1,000 shares, I'm making $750 in 3 minutes. By the way, this money hits my account, write this down, T+1, trading day +1. If I did this transaction on Friday, this $750 is in my brokerage account when? Monday morning. Can I pull it out? Can I go spend that money? Any leaky toilets? Did I have to go to court for anything? No, I just did this transaction. I have to go to court. Anybody ever been to court for 10 minutes? I have. Never lost a case. They were 4 months behind in rent. I just went before the judge and said, they're 4 months behind. He was like, boom, here, I don't have to go before a judge. I don't have to talk to anybody. I just take this money. Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, if I start to bump up these numbers, you see how this monthly residual income starts to increase pretty quickly. A stock can only do one of 3 things. Go up, go down, or stay the same. That's it. Go up, go down, or stay the same. So let's think about this one together. Because as my nieces and nephews say, this is where it gets interestinger and interesting. If the stock is at $19.75 and it goes nowhere, do I get to keep this money?
Yes.
If this, and I keep the 5% return?
Yes.
If the stock rises above 20, do I get to keep this money?
Yes.
Plus I make the difference between what I paid for and what I sold it for?
Yeah.
Can I do this transaction every 30 days? In other words, if they buy the stock away from me, and I keep, this is called the premium, I keep this, some of you are paying premiums instead of collecting them. If I get to keep this money and the stock goes above $20 and I'm called out of the stock, the stock market's still being called out, can I buy back the same stock and do the same transaction again and take in another 5%? And the problem is what? With this wealth building and becoming wealthy thing. The problem is what? There is no problem. Because a stock can only go up, go down, or stay the same. Do you get that? Now the number one question I get from, because now we're working on your money beliefs, I see it happening right here in the room. Oh, come on, Tyrone. If this were so easy, why isn't everybody doing it? Which is my favorite question. The answer is very simple. Everybody is doing it. Everybody who has a financial education in the stock market. So anybody in this room who has money in a mutual fund, just raise your hand if you have money in a mutual fund. Hi, so I can see who you are. Thank you very much. You know the money you have in that mutual fund, did it make you 5% residual income last month? You have money in a mutual fund and it kicked you no money? Your investment kicked you no residual income? Why do you have it in the mutual fund? Do you know why? Because all wealth is taught. Can you write that down? Because no one ever showed you anything different. That's a big answer. But all of a sudden, you're here today, and you're starting to think and feel something different. Because if I'm generating at least $750 a month, I have residual income no matter where the stock goes. Is that correct?
Yep.
Let's go through this again. Bought the stock at how much?
1975.
Perfectly willing to sell it at 20. Right. Instead of waiting for it to go to 20, I'm going to do what? Sell a call option. This is called a covered call. Why is it covered? Because I own the stock to just give it to someone at a profit. Is that good? If the stock never crosses $20, the $20 is called the close. Very good. Strike price. If the stock crosses the strike price, do I make additional money? Yes. Some people go, yeah, but Tyrone, if the stock never goes up, you just keep collecting this money over and over and over and over. Really? That's the power of a financial education in the stock market. Don't be afraid of the stock market. The only reason you're afraid is because you don't know how it works. Because you don't have a financial education, right? Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you do this transaction from anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
Can you do it from Hawaii?
Yeah.
You got to get up a little earlier because the market in New York opens at 9:30. Can you do it from Santa Barbara?
Yep.
Los Angeles? Mo, can you do it from New Jersey? You better believe, although there's some restrictions. Just kidding. All right. The point is, we can work this residual income stream over and over and over and over again. Is 5% on your money guaranteed from selling this every single month good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you think that that's really good.
That's good.
Thank you for that. I'm not really that impressed with the 5% thing. I like it because it's consistent. If I could show you how to get more than 5% doing the exact same transaction, would you be open enough to listen to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
What if I could show you how to get 10% off of this transaction? Would that be good?
Twice as good.
All right. All right. Listen to me carefully. Don't be negative. Don't do this. Just do what? Hope it. Should you be positive? No. You don't really know if this really works yet. Okay? But you're kind of open to it. So here's what we're going to do. When I open my brokerage account, I'm going to apply for something called margin. Anybody know what margin is? It's a line of credit, right? So if I bring in $10,000 in a brokerage account and I fill out a margin agreement, my brokerage house is going to loan me another what? $10,000. They'll say, this is a line of credit that you can use. That's called leverage. You're all in real estate. You know what leverage is, right? Somebody else's money. Okay. All right. So can we use somebody else's money to double this rate of return by using our money and then going to our margin? I was in New York. I was teaching the other night. And somebody kept calling it margarine, so I'm trying not to say margarine. So can I go and borrow somebody else's money to do the exact same transaction and double this from 5% to 10%?
Yes.
It's the same transaction with just more shares. Their money plus my money. But some people who are a little negative or a little scared, they go, oh, but they're going to charge you interest on that money you borrowed, right, Tyrone? And I'm going to go, yeah, because this is America. And banks just don't give you money. They're going to charge you interest. It's called margin interest. Is margin interest tax deductible? Oh, you got to be kidding me. We're going to borrow somebody else's money, make guaranteed money on it, and the interest that they charge us, we're going to use it to reduce our tax bill on our capital gains. Do you love America or what? Do you see why the rich get richer in the stock market? Don't be negative. Watch your money thoughts. Just be what? You don't want to just do real estate. You want to do stocks and real estate. Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
Wealth is never either this or that. It's both and a little bit of everything. Do you get that? 10% on your money. People do this in my program with ease. They get bored. I say boredom is good because that means that you're getting wealthy. You don't have to do other things in your life for excitement, not grow your money. Really growing your money and wealth, you should have a little bit of boredom to it. Why? Because that means it's predictable. Do you get that? Do you know what I do for excitement? I don't know you well enough to tell you that. The point is, I can tell you this, that between 5 and 10% when the stock goes up or goes down and stays the same, this happens every single month. Ooh, let's look and see what that means. Yes. So if you had $10,000 in a brokerage account right now, can you earn $1,000 a month? Yes?
Yep.
If you pulled out the $25,000 in your mutual fund and you got a financial education, you came along with me, can you make $2,500 a month?
Yes.
Just selling these call options on stocks with have a tendency to rise? Say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How many of you want more income in your life? Raise your hand. High, high,